Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices and you can sign up for product alerts. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. There's been a prison escape and we are detectives trying to figure out who did it, how they did it, where did they go afterwards, where are they hiding out, and who other people in the prison are their affiliates of their gangs. Today we're taking a look at The Key, Escape from Strongwall Prison. The Key is a series of deduction games that are sort of real-time deduction games. This is the one that is the first one of the level 3 expert level. So we're going to take a look at this. Previously I have reviewed the Oakdale Club one. It was about golf. It was about the golf course. I loved that one. And this is supposed to be the next level. So let's take a look. In the key, you're going to select a key, which is a specific color for the case for that game. There's 9 different ones. And even though there's only 9 different ones, number one, you probably will never remember the actual code for the one that you did by the time you played 9 games of these. And even if you did, you still need to be able to get to the right answer, and it's going to be different every time. So it is replayability, even though there's only 9 unique cases. Now let's say we pick brown. Okay, we pick brown for this one. We would go through and select all the cards that have brown on them. Like this one does not, we wouldn't use it. This one does, we'd use all the ones that brown. Same for the smaller game cards. We'd use these ones, we wouldn't use these ones. Then on the table, you should spread out all the cards that you're using for this game, both the normal size and the small ones, because over the course of the game, players in real time are going to be kind of just going like this and searching for certain cards depending on the amount of time it costs and what they're actually looking for. So usually you know what you're looking for, and once you know how to play the game, you're looking for which cards you're trying to get information on, and that's pretty much the setup. Now each player gets one of these. It's sort of a shield, but it's also dry erase. Now over the course of the game, what you're trying to find out is there's these 3 suspects, shows their heights and different things about them. Some of them have tattoos, some of them don't, some of them have dirty clothes, something like that. Those are different things that you're going to learn about in some of the clues maybe. But essentially, there's 3 escape routes, number 1, 2, and 3. One bolt through the door and unlocked it, one through the wire, and one just blew a hole in the wall. So eventually what's going to happen is you're going to find out that people are not certain things, like this, and then you are going to find something out. And when you find something out, like if we know that he went through this, we know that nobody else went through that one, and we also know that he didn't go through this. Then through deduction, we found out that he went here, we know he didn't go here, and we know she went there. So, pretty normal deduction style things. You're also going to be doing the same things for about which laundry cart did they hide in, and which location did they get to and hide out in. Now I've placed this down so you can see it a little easier. This is this side of the inside of this. Now there's 3 different, those 3 suspects are gang leaders, and they have different icons that are their gang, okay? Now here's all the other people that are actually in prison. These are actually characters from other versions of The Key. Like the previous games of The Key, these actually were the suspects in those games, which is pretty interesting. It brings it all together. Now, all of these suspects, so 2 of them are going to be affiliated with one of these gang members. And just like the other things, once you find out, like if he's with him, you know he's not with this one or this one. Same type of logic and deduction. But the interesting thing is you're going to try to find which 2 are with each gang members. Now, over the course of the game, you're going to be learning clues. You're going to be interrogating some of these gang members, and you won't know if they're telling the truth or not. What they tell you may be true or it might not be true. For example, if you're interrogating this person and you learn something, you won't know if he's telling the truth or not unless you find out who he's affiliated with. If he's telling you something about this guy, and later on you find out that he's actually in his gang, then what he's telling you is a lie. But if you learn about him and he's telling you about this guy, but later on you learn that he is actually in her gang, then you know that he's telling the truth, and you can believe that and take that deduction. And that's the big twist in this expert version that makes it expert, because it's a whole second side of deduction, where at the end, not only do you need to find out all the things I showed you before, but you also need to find out which 2 are affiliated with which gang leader. Now there are no turns in this game. That big stack of the cards that are all over the table, you just take one, you put it in front of you, you look at it, you make some notes, and then you just go and keep doing that. It's all real time. But I want to show you some of the different things you can learn. Now these are telling you about, hey, the scene number 1 and who it was, scene number 3, we don't know. So you'll be learning different things. And they might say things like, hey, a man escaped through this, or a person with a necklace escaped through this, or this person passed the cell door of at least one woman. Now, each player gets one of these little player aids, and it said that this person here passed by the cell of one woman. And they always go in a straight line. So you look at this and you see like the map of the prison. You say, well, we know we didn't go out this way because there's no women here. So we know that this person didn't go through here, for example. But they could have went this way, passing through by this woman, or they could have went this way, passing by this woman. So you're learning deduction through like just actual real things here. Maybe you're learning about the person and their hideout. And then it says, hey, the boss of this one did not escape to the casino. Again, trying to find out the gang affiliation. Who is the suspect that this one is affiliated with? Which boss? Now, again, it's in real time, but it's not necessarily the fastest one that gets things done. It's the most efficient, because at the end of the game, if you find out the code, you'll wait for everyone else to either find it or be wrong. And what you're going to do is add up these numbers on all the cards. And the one that has the lowest, if only one person did it, they win. But if multiple people do it, whoever has the lowest number of points here wins, because this is how much time it took. So the higher the number, the better the clue is. This one's about the laundry cart, a person in a laundry cart and the socks. So when you see these ones, it's actually going to show you a card like this. Now this is the most confusing part of the game for me, because I thought at the beginning that this check mark meant that this person was in this one. It doesn't. It means that you're going to find out which laundry cart this person is, and it's only a matter of one of these two. And it gives you a shoe print. So again, you're going to be looking at shoe prints and figuring out, well, which person is it? Then you're going to be looking at the laundry carts. Now these laundry carts also have on the back of your player aid has this. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at these two, and you're going to look at what they were before and what they were after, and you're going to find a very subtle difference of something that has moved or looks different. And so you're just looking closely, taking time to do it. It's kind of fun, but you're trying to find the differences between those. And when you find it, you know that this person hid and used that laundry cart. And black and yellow, go with the black and the yellow, things like that. However, sometimes you'll be looking at the laundry cart and where they located, and it's going to give you directions. This one says the blue one. The blue one will go through different things, like going in one of 3 different directions, then taking a right, then going straight 3 times, then going to a left, then doing this, then going to a building. All these different things. And every player is also given a dry erase map. Here's the prison. That one was the blue one, so it could have went straight, right, or left. Well, it couldn't have gone straight, so it went right or left. At the next intersection, it's going to take a right, because that's what the card said. So then we go here. So you start going around, and you're trying to figure out, at the end of that card, it's supposed to be in one of these 3 locations. And if it's not, then you did something wrong, but you're trying to figure it out, and that's one way to figure out where they hid out. Now, you don't have to use this map. This one tends to be the hardest one for new players to figure out. There are ways to get that information without it, but they cost more information, and it has to do with those smaller cards. For example, these smaller cards here, this person we're going to interrogate. We're going to interrogate that inmate about this boss. And we're going to interrogate them, and they're going to say, they asked this person, did this person run past your door? This person says yes. So again, we asked this person about this person. They said they ran past their door. So what that means is this person saying that this person came out through here. Now, we might already know the answer to that, but if we don't, we won't know if this is true or not until, again, we find out if this person is affiliated with them or not. If this is the boss of this person, then they're lying. We know they didn't go through this door. So that's the trick of this, trying to figure out the affiliations. Now, we talked about the number of cards and the points that these cost. The interesting thing is, these ones that have numbers on them, it depends on how many of these that you take. The first one is free. This one didn't cost you anything. The next one costs you 1. The next one costs you 2. The next one costs you 3. So over the course of the game, the more and more of these you get, the more costly they become. So you want to use them sparingly and use them when you really need a piece of information that's really good. So maybe we had learned about that information, but we don't know whether we trust her or not. And then we find this card. It's worth 5. It's a lot of time, but it's going to tell us who she's affiliated with, right? And so we flip this over, and it's telling us she has this gang sign. And then we come up here, and we look at the different gang signs between here and here and here, and we can tell you who she's affiliated with. Now we know whether to trust her or not. Sometimes you're going to be getting cards that say, hey, the person, anyone in this gang affiliation never sit in neighboring cells. And that might also give you some deduction based upon location. Now, when you think you know the answer, you'll look at the person and you'll see in which order they are, left to right on your board. And then you'll come up with a code number. Then you'll find out which laundry thing, is it left to right on your board. And then which location. And so you have a 3-digit code, and you'll end up putting that in here. Now, normally, that's like the end of the game. But since this is expert level, and remember, you have to find out all the affiliations of the different gang members and their bosses, you're going to find out that code that you originally got, which again, in the normal version of the game is the code, you're going to manipulate that code 3 times to find the real code. Now, normally you'd have all this other stuff filled in, but in this here, we know this was the person that went through there. Then we'd find the 2 inmates that are affiliated with them. Let's say it was Thomas and William. We would go to Thomas and William, and this tells us we're going to swap the 2 first digits of our previous code. And so, depending on the 2R, how you do these different things to the code, it's an amazing thing of deduction, where at the end, you are going to get a 3-digit code. The first person's going to take the brown key, because that's the case you're playing. You're going to put it in that 3-digit code. This is going to poke through the other side. And this will end up telling you whether you're correct or not. And when you're done, you kind of just sit there until everyone's either wrong or they figured it out. And if more than one player figured it out, you add up all the numbers, all the cards. Whoever has the lowest points of the one that got it is the winner. All right, now before I get to my final thoughts, I want to let you know that if you like my content, there's now ways to get bonus content like first impression videos well before a review will come out, or for many games I don't even end up reviewing. You can even vote for which games get reviewed on the channel. You can also see me opening up packages and getting content earlier than everyone else. And now you can see what you're missing with a free 7-day trial at patreon.com/GameBoyGeek. All right, so this series, The Key, which by the way, if you search for this on Board Game Geek, there's going to be a million Keyflower games, and it's really hard to find these. But these series of games called The Key, and there's all different ones, is exactly what I wanted Awkward Guests to be, which was a popular deduction game that had a fiddly game card passing mechanism that really ruined the game for me. I liked the deduction in that, but I didn't like the way that you get information. Here it takes sort of the idea of what that deduction was like, but does it in a much more streamlined manner. Basically, it's zero downtime. This is a real-time game. You're picking up cards, you're looking at them, and you're making deductions based upon those. You don't have to wait for anybody's turns. It's kind of a race, but it's really not, because it's more about being the most efficient player, not the fastest player. So to get the right answer with the least amount of clues is how you win. Not being the fastest one to jot down clues and figure things out. That's a big distinction here. This is by far the best in the series, because it's the expert level, and I love deduction games. If you're not a huge deduction fan, I would try some of the other ones. There's a level 1, 2, and 3s out there. I would try the easier ones first. Go watch my review of the Oakdale Club. That's the medium version, which is fine. The thing that makes this mind-blowing is, in addition to the normal style deduction that's in a lot of the other ones, this has that second level of deduction with the gang affiliation and covering for the boss. So if you're questioning one of the people in prison and they give you an answer, unless you know their gang affiliation, if they're affiliated with that boss or not, you don't know whether they're lying or not, and you might not find out till later. So you've got all this information, and you're like putting these question marks around, and then later on it makes sense, like, oh, this person is that person's boss. So they are lying, because they're not going to tell you the truth about where they went, or vice versa. And just that twist makes it so much harder to figure things out, that the answer that you might be getting might not be true. Now, you know which answers might not be true. They're only the ones that you're interrogating the different inmates that are that are there. But it's amazing. I mean, in general, the series is awesome. This is the best one if you like heavier deduction games, but mechanically light. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, on the negative side of things, this could come down to luck. Now, sometimes you get a card, you draw a card, and you already knew that. Yeah, you know what? If you didn't draw that card, you do something else, you would have learned something new, right? Now, granted, it's going to happen to everyone, but there is enough randomness in this game that the best quote-unquote player might not win. You got to be okay with that, especially going to a game that is 40, 45 minutes long, and has a lot of thinking. And if it comes down to, hey, you were a little bit more efficient than me because one of the cards I drew already knew, you didn't draw any of those, not great. But again, this game isn't really about the score. It's more like, hey, we all did this competitively. We all got the right answer. Great. Oh, who did the most efficiently? You. You actually really won, but technically we found the answer. If you go at it like that, which is the way I go at it, it shouldn't bother you too much. You can't easily help or decipher cards for others in this game. Because sometimes you can teach them the game up front, you can show them the different types of cards, but there's a lot of different types of cards. And the person hasn't played this before, they're going to be like, what does this card mean? you kind of have to go through some of the other cards that aren't being played this game and have them find one that looks pretty much like it and have them show it to you. And they go, okay, this means this and this and this and this, and then you can tell them, you know. In the meantime, other players are like, you know, getting cards and stuff. So it's not the easiest because you can't really help people mid-game. You can, like I mentioned, but it's a little harder to do in this game. There's definitely zero interaction with other players, other than once in a while there's certain cards that allow you to flip over and everyone gets to see them. But it still has pressure. So it's weird because like you are playing against people, but you're not having any interaction with them other than they're grabbing cards. And sometimes when you want something, you're looking for something and you need to get it before others, and there is that pressure to get to the information that you need before someone else gets that very card that you're looking for. The other thing is there's the laundry socks, and it was very confusing in the rule book where there was like a green check mark, and it made it seem like that was the thing you were looking for, but it's not. It should have been clearer that the things that you're looking for, it was just hard to understand. And for the first full game, it made some wrong deductions, so I went back and then had to message the publisher and go, oh, okay, it's actually like the opposite of what you think. The green check mark doesn't mean it's this one. It means that, you know, whatever. It's wrong. It kind of like throws you for a loop. So be careful when you're looking at that. I described it in the overview if you want to see what I'm talking about, but it was a little tough to know. The last thing here is this should come with a little magnifying glass, kind of like in like Micro Macro Crime City, a little plastic one. Because when you're looking for those laundry cart differences, some of them are super subtle that are really hard for anyone over the age of 45 to look at, you know, with the eyes and such. And so it would have been nice to come with a little magnifying glass so you could have seen some of the little smaller things there, but that's it. The game is fantastic. I had a lot of negatives here, but that's just because I want you to know if this game is for you or if not. If you like deduction, if you like tenseness, if you like some real-time aspects, even though you don't have to be the fastest, just the most efficient, this game is fantastic. This is my favorite of the bunch. If you played any of the other versions and you wanted more of a challenge, granted, even the easier ones are not easy, this is the best one. And for those reasons, this is absolutely staying in my gaming library, so we're going to deduct it with a saxophone serenade. Here we go. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table into a high-quality gaming solution, but they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with over 20 styles of thematic game mats in 11 different sizes from notable board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and real cool accessories, experience what thousands of other gamers enjoy by upgrading every game you play with a Game Topper system. Save hundreds of dollars on Game Topper package deals that are in stock now for immediate shipping at GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.